Welcome to Let's Talk Literature. I'm Em.
And I'm Will.
And we're two book lovers who wanted to combine our passions for reading and gossiping and share it with the world.
Whether you're looking for a new book to pick up or a new book friend, you come to the right place.
So grab a coffee.
Or a little wine and let's talk literature. Oh my god. I gulped that. There was like half coffee, half air in there. Wow. Alright, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. It's a lovely rainy/snowy Sunday when we're recording this, so
It is.
I'm good. Just relaxing today, watching the Eagles. How are you?
Same here. I will say though, I'm on the struggle bus a little bit today. Not getting too much into the details, but Chris and I went to a fondue night yesterday. So good. Beautiful, like, host. You know, it was a beautiful house. The couple that had it are amazing. We love them. Shout out Gab and Zach. So amazing. But I'm feeling it today. I have a nice little rock in my tummy. And this is moving things along.
It's the cherry on top.
It's moving things along.
Your stomach is fondue and coffee right now.
This is coffee number 2 as well. So take that information as you will. The gloominess of outside with the snow and the rain and the sleet really is fitting after the TikTok ban.
I know.
I
feel like I'm in like a dystopian world. Like this morning was the first morning with no TikTok. It was kind of nice.
It was I actually caught myself trying to open the app
multiple times.
Like without even thinking about it.
That just goes to show like how blindly addicted we are to this app, which the whole situation surrounding it sucks, and we already talked about it, but
yes
it is kind of nice to
not
like
have
now
it. I have to like
do stuff.
Like now I'm probably gonna have some more time to do stuff,
no,
which like
exactly.
I think it's gonna come back. I do think it's gonna come back, but maybe this is a nice wake up call of like, let's take a little time off, let's spend a little less time online,
and like prioritizing things you actually want to do rather than just scrolling. I feel like I'll read more without it, which
completely agree.
Goes hand in hand with today's episode. We are talking about our February TBRs. We are recording this a little bit early because we have some conflicting schedules for early February, late January.
I will not be in the country, so we didn't want to risk how that would play out if we couldn't get audio and video, whatever. So we decided, let's record a little early. So these TBRs, maybe they're a little outdated by the time this is released, but they're still picks that we want to read. They're still picks that we want to recommend. So I think it's still a worthwhile little discussion today.
I agree. And I love this kind of episode. Like, I would listen to this kind of episode because I feel like we're just talking about books we want to read. It doesn't even matter the timeline. So if you're looking for book recommendations, this is a good one to sit back, relax, and listen to. So let's just jump right into it, I guess. We can start with the February book club that we will be hosting through FABLE and through the podcast. Since we're recording this a little bit early, we don't have it selected yet. We have polls out right now trying to choose it, but we do have it down to 4 books. Do you want to share the 4? And then you guys can go and vote. Actually, no, by the time this is out, you won't be able to vote. But by the time this is out, you'll know which one is the pick.
You'll know what it is. You'll know, like, you know now, whereas we don't know at all what it's going to be, which is kind of cool.
You have all the power.
You have all the power. Always. So, for this month, since it's February, what comes with February? A little bit of romance, you know? A little
bit of romance.
Valentine's Day. It's still cold. So we were like, okay, let's do a little romance, but also give the option for some fantasy. So a couple, it feels very right. So We have a couple romance options, and we have a couple romantasy options. So here they are. First choice is Funny Story by Emily Henry. I feel like this was a book last year that took off and was very popular, and both Em and I have not read it, so we thought, let's put it on the list.
Yeah.
Next is Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli. I believe I said that right.
I like that last name.
Yeah, I know. It's very
fun.
Foo-foo, you know?
It is.
This is a young adult romantasy. I believe it was up for an award for Goodreads as well in that category. And I've heard great things about it. Next, we have Quicksilver by Callie Hart. This is also a romantasy. When I looked up the genre, it said it wasn't young adult, so this might be a little more mature when it comes to its themes. Yeah, exactly. And lastly, we have The Favorites by Lane Fargo. This is a pick that Em found. Saw that it was getting a lot of traction lately, so we added it to the list. And you want to give a little brief kind of vibe check on it?
Yeah, to be honest, all that I know about it is a romance that has to do with figure skating. That's literally all I know.
Like the Olympics, right?
I believe so. If you were on this side of TikTok, I forget their names, but there was like a couple who figure skated. They weren't actually together. This is real life. They weren't actually together, but they figure skated like competitively, I guess, in the Olympics together. And there was always like rumors of like, oh my god, they have to be in love, like their chemistry's unreal. And then he had an actual girlfriend, and then something happened between the two figure skaters and they don't compete together anymore, like they went separate ways. I think this is somewhat a similar sort of story. This follows like a couple who is figure skating together. They went to the Olympic Games, and then we follow 10 years later. It's the anniversary of their final skate, and an unauthorized documentary comes out with like the real story.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's tea. That's
like,
very
I kind of
tea.
hope you guys pick that. But
that's so tea.
You know.
I think so far from the poll, I think Funny Story is in the lead, but
that's also
early.
high on the TBR, so I'll let it be.
It's early. Yeah, exactly. So those are our 4 picks for February Book Club, and by the time this comes out, you will know what we're reading, and you'll be reading along with us on Fable. So I wanted, like last month, I wanted to diversify my picks a bit, so each of them are a little different from the rest, but I also tried to fit my picks for the vibe of February, which February, again, I was talking earlier, it's very romance based, but it's also cold, so I feel like it's very fantasy-esque still. That's the kind of vibe I've been getting.
Yeah.
Also, it's a good time for science fiction too. Something about snow, cold weather really makes me want to read a fantasy or a science fiction. So these kind of align with some of those elements. So obviously, first on our TBR for February is whatever the book club pick is. But my own personal, I have 3 picks. So I'll start with one that is a repeat of last month. Now, at this point, we're still a little early, so maybe I did read this, but we won't know until the time has come. But I'm making this a priority to read in February because I feel like this one's going to be a good February read. I have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Now, I keep pushing this one from, I think it was my December TBR, then it was my January TBR, but this feels like a February read. And I promise that I'm going to put this on the front right burner of my stove.
Gorgeous.
Not physically, but like literally or
metaphorically.
Figuratively. There we go. Yes, metaphorically, figuratively. Front right burner. Most important book I want to read in February is this book. So.
Gorgeous.
And I hope that this is not on my March list. I hope that this is on my February wrap-up list at the end of February. So that's my number one goal, is to read this book.
Love it.
And I think it's, it's very February. I don't know.
It absolutely
I feel like
is. But I could say that about every month of the year in that book. So
that's fair. That is fair.
Like we could be in June, and I'd be like, "This is the perfect time to pick that up."
Yeah, it's a special book to Em, and I keep telling her that I will read it.
It's fine because we're literally in the same boat with A Little Life for me and The Invisible Life for you. So it's fine.
but by the end of this year, both will be read. Yes.
Absolutely. I'm actually planning on reading A Little Life before the end of January, like getting a huge chunk into it.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, okay. So stay tuned on that. My first pick is going to be a Frida McFadden book, which I don't know if I've really talked about her books on here, but they're like a guilty pleasure for me. They're not anything spectacular. They're really not that great, but they're so quick to fly through. And I'm going to Arizona in February, and it's like a 5-hour flight or something like that. Yeah. I'm looking for something that I can just like read the whole flight. So perfect time for a thriller, in my opinion. This is The Crash by Frida McFadden. I believe it comes out January 25th, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a new release.
It is a new release, yeah.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going to read you the description because it sounds really good. Tegan is 8 months pregnant, alone, and desperately wants to put her crumbling life in the rearview mirror. So she hits the road, planning to stay with her brother until she can figure out her next move. But she doesn't realize she's heading straight into a blizzard. She never arrives at her destination. Stranded in rural Maine with a dead car and broken ankle, Tegan worries she's made a terrible mistake. Then a miracle. She is rescued by a couple who offers her a room in their warm cabin until the snow clears. But something isn't right. Tegan believed she was waiting out the storm, but as time ticks by, she comes to realize she is in grave danger. This safe haven isn't what she thought it was, and staying here may be her most deadly mistake yet. And now she must do whatever it takes to save herself and her unborn child.
Very thriller.
Right? Yeah, like it's just like very Frida McFadden. Her writing is just so easy to fly through, so it felt like a good pick for this month.
I feel that. I know I've said this, I think, since day one of this podcast, that I need to at least try a Frida McFadden book. Maybe that should have been a resolution this year, just do one, you know?
I think you should just do it before the movie
The Housemaid comes out, right? Yeah. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read The Housemaid and just see how it goes.
It's nothing spectacular, you know?
Yeah. I'm not expecting anything like groundbreaking.
It's just fun.
You know?
Yeah.
So, but also, I'm not doing a thriller for a little bit. So that's going to have to... That is in the...
That's on the back left.
Back left burner. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wait, little side note. I don't know if I brought this up on the podcast. My landlord won't fix my stove. And the burner that's broken is the front right burner. Which
is so unfair.
It's so unfair. He was like, you can just deal with that, right? I was like,
no.
You try to boil something and cook something at the same time. And then you come
Get back to me.
Because it's an electric burner, so like the front two are huge and then the back two are like little itty bitty.
Yeah.
Like, what am I supposed to do with that?
It's not right.
It's so wrong.
It's actually really messed up.
So wrong.
First world problems at their best.
But you know what? Don't get me started. Let's move on.
Okay.
All right. Are you all good with
I am all good with that
your first pick? Okay.
Yes.
So, going off of my reading resolutions for the year, I said that I wanted to finish out the series that I started. So, with that being said, my next pick is Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. This is the second book in the Red Rising series. I believe now there's 5 books. There's the original trilogy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's the original trilogy, and then there's 2 other, like, kind of, what's that word?
Spin-offs.
Spin-off, thank you. That is all in the same world, all with the same characters, I believe. So, yeah, on the back, there's the complete trilogy. Red Rising, Golden Sun, and Morning Star. So this is number 2 in the original trilogy. I loved the first book. I thought it was amazing. I've told you about it, Em. I think it's something that you would really enjoy. It's like a dystopian, almost Hunger Games-esque like world, but it's more science fiction than anything else. Yeah, it's really good. I am so bad with series. I will start one and be like, okay, I need a break from the world, put it down for 6 months, never touch it again. So this is my first attempt at finishing a series that I started. The other series I have to finish is ACOTAR, but I don't know. I felt like this was drawing me in more to want to continue. Yeah. So this might be the first series that I finish, and then I'll do ACOTAR after that. But
I'm excited for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I might do what you said too, and like record my journey of finishing them and posting that.
Should.
So we'll see. We'll see what comes of that. But yeah, that's choice number 2 is Golden Sun by Pierce Brown.
Gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you.
My next choice is going to be a little bit boring in my opinion, but I'm trying to get into nonfiction and stick with my goals for the year, and reading one every single month. So my pick for February is going to be The Untethered Soul. This is by Michael A. Singer. I already started this. I probably read 5 pages at most. But I saw this all over TikTok. Rest in peace, TikTok. I saw this all over. It's a self-help transformation book. Let me read you a little blurb from the back just to give you a better idea of like what you can expect from this.
Okay.
What would it be like to What would it be like to be free from limitations and soar beyond your boundaries? What can you do each day to find this kind of inner peace and freedom? The Untethered Soul offers a simple, profoundly intuitive answer to these questions. Whether this is your first exploration of inner space or you've devoted your life to the inward journey, this book will transform your relationship with yourself and the world around you. The Untethered Soul begins by walking you through your relationship with your thoughts and emotions, helping you uncover the source and fluctuations of your inner energy. There's more to it on there, but that's kind of like a basic idea.
Oh, I really like that, actually.
Yeah, I'm excited.
It sounds like, yeah. I think I need something like that.
From what I read so far in it, which is truly just like the introduction, it kind of talks about how like the narrator in your head that is going 24/7 is like separate from yourself, and like acknowledging that you can just be a viewer, like a listener of this narration. It doesn't have to define you. So like I guess letting your thoughts define you is the main point of the book. I don't know. I'm nervous to read it because I'm not very good at sticking with nonfictions that are this like deep.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
That also seems like it's an approach to handling anxiety too.
Definitely.
And depressive thoughts. So definitely. I think that you could definitely get something out of that.
I agree. I'm just and it's so short, like it's very tiny. So like I definitely can do it. I just need to be in like I need to like focus. You know?
Yeah, I got you. Maybe what I did bringing it back up.
Atomic Habits.
With Atomic Habits is that I made it a part of my routine to read a chapter of it or like a small excerpt of it every night.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a huge commitment. It's almost like something that you just do over time. And so by the end of the month, you'll have gradually, because like with nonfiction, I feel like you don't have to devote all your time to finishing it in one go. Yeah. Whereas like with fiction, you want to read different stories. And like if you try to read multiple at one time, you can get that all confused. But with nonfiction, it's really like, I feel like that's something that you can intersperse between your different fiction books. So just take that like one day at a time throughout the month. Like don't feel like you have to sit down and like finish it, you know? Yeah.
There's 19 chapters to it, so I feel like that's perfect.
Yeah, and also you said it's short, so they're probably shorter chapters too. So yeah, do one a night. So it's not a huge commitment.
I'm gonna do that.
You know? Yeah. Make it a little less daunting. Thank you. All right. My last pick for my TBR is a book that I tried to read a long time ago. And I didn't DNF it. I just wasn't in my reading era. I think it was a little more advanced for me at the time. My pick for my final February TBR is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I read Circe based off of M's recommendation. That book is 5 stars. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I went right to this book directly after reading Circe. And the prose in reading both Circe and The Song of Achilles, it's it's not like it's difficult to follow, but like you really have to put some effort into like really grasp what's going on and keeping track of everything. And so I went right into this after Cersei, and I think I overwhelmed myself and then just kind of, I think I got a quarter of the way in and then just stopped. So I haven't read like the most recent like Greek mythology or mythology based book that I read was Piranesi, and that was last year, and I loved it. I absolutely devoured that book. It was one of my favorites of the year. I think I'm ready for a nice little mythology-esque, I don't know, kind of book. So it's also a gay romance.
Yeah, I was going to say it's perfect timing.
Which I said, like, I needed to read more of. So I think it's a good blend of exactly what I'm looking for in February. So I think that is the perfect book to read. So those are my 3 picks for the month. Right there. All the physical copies too. So I'm excited. I definitely am in my physical book era right now. I haven't really used my Kindle since maybe November. You know, I've just been like, I know, because what did I have on my Kindle that I read God of the Woods on my Kindle. So that must have been December. That was the last book I read on my Kindle. But that was one that like I put on airplane mode and kept it for a long time. And so I now have another book on my Kindle that's now on airplane mode because I don't want to lose it. And it's the book that you were talking about, the thriller, We Used to Live Here, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that's sitting on my Kindle and I don't want to lose that.
Okay,
so like
that's valid.
I'm like holding it hostage of like, okay, we're not using your Kindle until you want to read that book. Yeah. So I think my Kindle will come back into the loop, but I have a bunch of books on my shelf I haven't read. So I think this is a good time for me to really dive into the books that I have rather than buying new ones. So
it definitely is. I love that.
That's my list. All right,
Gorgeous.
What's your final book, Em?
My final book, I love this cover. This is Sugar Baby by Celine St. Clair. Have you heard of this one?
No, I haven't, but that I do agree. That cover is very beautiful.
It's very pretty. I got sent this from Aardvark Books, which is not sponsored right now, but maybe one day. It's like a book subscription service. Once again, I'm so sorry I'm reading these descriptions and not giving you a summary, but I feel like the descriptions are going to do better than I will. So, Sugar Baby follows Agnes, a mixed-race 21-year-old whose life seems to be heading nowhere. Still living at home, she works as a cleaner and spends all her money in clubs on the weekends, searching for distractions from her mundane life. That is, until she meets Emily, daughter of one of her cleaning clients who lives in London and works as a model and a sugar baby, dating rich older men for money. Emily's life is the escape Agnes has been longing for. Extravagant tasting menus, champagne on tap, glamorous hotels with unlimited room service, designer gifts from dates who call her beautiful. But this new lifestyle is the last straw for her religious mother, Constance. Kicked out of her family home, Agnes moves in with Emily and the other sugar babies in their fancy London flat and is drawn deeper and deeper into their world. But these women come from money. They possess a safety net that Agnes does not. And as she is thrown from one precarious relationship to the next, a married man who wants to show off his glamorous, exotic girl on his arm, a Russian billionaire's wife who makes Agnes the main attraction at a private sex party in Miami, she finds herself searching for fulfillment just as desperately as she was before. A very
heavy.
Yeah, a very out there, very heavy book. I've had this for probably a year and I've just never picked it up. But it's been intriguing me since I've had it, and I feel like it's bordering literary fiction, but also kind of feels like it could have elements of like thrillers. Like I feel like some scary things could happen in this. Definitely very heavy, as you can tell from the description. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for this one. I haven't really heard much about it on social media or anything, so I want to read it with a clear mind and see what I think.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah, and that's it. That's it for me.
Of your 3 books, what's your front right burner?
That's tough because the Freida McFadden one I am excited for because I know I'm going to fly through it.
Yeah.
I would say Sugar Baby's my front right burner. That's the one that I think I'm going to enjoy the most. I do hope that the nonfiction, The Untethered Soul, becomes the front right burner. Will it? I don't know. But it's not right now.
I gotcha.
So yeah, that's it for me.
Very nice. And a very diverse grouping of books this time too from both of us. So
it
a lot of different picks, a lot of different genres. So you guys have some nice inspo for your own TBRs for February. Yeah, I'm excited. I definitely have some books left for January to still read. And since I'm going away, I'll have a lot of time to read. So I'm hoping that my wrap up reflects that. Yeah, I think my beginning of the year, I was scared because I had all these trips that I wasn't going to read that much, but I'm actually doing pretty decent so far. So I'm off to a good start with reading, which is good.
That's beautiful.
All right, so it looks like that is our TBR for February. We want to hear what you're reading for this month, so be sure to comment below what you're looking to read or what you recently have just read, any recommendations you have for us. And also be sure to join us on FABLE for the month of February as we read one of the 4 choices that we said earlier. So make sure to go over there because for the last book club for Blue Sisters, we had such a good turnout with people, putting their thoughts on the chapter by chapter discussion. And it was so much fun. It felt like a nice community that we could just, yap back and forth about the book. So
agreed. It was like really what we were like envisioning when we thought of this.
Oh yeah. So be sure to join us over there because it is a great time. And yeah, I think that's all she wrote for today.
That's
a little quick episode.
That's it for me. I'm gonna go read Stanley Tucci, What I Ate One Year, and watch the Eagles. And that's it.
I'm going to go also watch the Eagles. I'm going to go edit a nice little episode for the podcast. And I'm on The Wedding People, I think is what it's called. So I'll be reading that today. I hope that you guys have a great day and a great month of reading.
I hope you guys have a great month of reading. And we will see you next week for a ramble.
Little ramble.
All right, we will see you then. Have a fantastic rest of your week, and goodbye.
Bye.